As a blogger in Russia, I get a lot of crazy comments. The majority of the crazy comments I get are about toilets and how there are no toilets in Russia. I expect this from internet trolls, but what I didn't expect to hear this from was a United States representative. Because what else would he be doing during his free time other than spreading fake propaganda, right? So today, let's discuss toilets in Russia, something I never thought I'd talk about, but here we are. Let's start with the fact that 91% of Russians do have an indoor toilet, myself included. The other 8% usually has some kind of shared facility or an outhouse, which does exist also in the United States and in Canada and many other countries. Now, many people in this 8% live in very cold and rural areas, and therefore a septic tank would just freeze. Like, do I have to remind you that Russia has some of the coldest places in the world? And we have a lot of land, and not everywhere there's gonna be indoor plumbing, but that's okay. No one is forcing Don Bacon to go out to do an excursion in remote Siberia, although I think it would benefit him. But you know what we should address is that in the United States, there are millions of people who don't just not have a toilet, they don't even have a home. Russia actually has one of the highest home ownership rates in the world. We don't have anything like Skid Row. Also, when it comes to literacy, international estimates put Russia's literacy rate at around 99.7 to 100. You know what it is for the US? Only 79% of US adults are literate, which means only 79% can read and write at a level needed for daily tasks. I think there are more important things for a US representative to worry about than the matter of indoor plumbing in a country that is not his own. By the way, outhouses exist in the US too, especially in places that deal with permafrost and freezing pipes, you know, like Alaska. The whole reason why Don made this post was to continue to perpetuate this image that Russians are so backwards and they need to use a hole outside to go to the bathroom, when that's just not the case. I'm tired of this disinformation, propaganda, Russophobia that a lot of these US representatives love to post instead of focusing on their own people and their own problems and their own country. Like, I expect it from stupid internet trolls, but I am embarrassed that it comes from like people that are supposed to be smart. And I guarantee you that some babushka living in a remote village in Siberia who, God forbid, has to use her outhouse probably has more brain cells and more education than Don Bacon has had in his entire life. Also, it's funny how he said that Russia is 70 years behind the United States, but let me just put this into perspective. The Bolshoi Theater in Moscow